Good afternoon, everybody. On October 7, Yaron, the amazing son of my brother Izar, and a soldier in a small commando unit, found himself with two other soldiers, Levinson and Omer Batito, fighting against about 100 Hamas terrorists who were trying to penetrate into kibbutz Kerem Shalom. The odds were against them, but they knew that if they retreat, there will be no one between the savages of the Hamas and the children of Kerem Shalom. So they stayed, and their heroic fight saved Kerem Shalom from atrocities similar to Be'eri and Kfar Aza. Yaron paid with his life, and his friends got injured. I was fortunate to meet with them when I was in Israel and hug them and hear their incredible bravery. What led to the point that three soldiers of one of the most powerful armies in the world find themselves alone against 100 terrorists will be investigated for years. But there is no doubt that one person, Bibi, was responsible for this just because he was the prime minister. But as we all know, he is not able to say the few simple words, "I am responsible." It is our mission to make sure his responsibility is never forgotten. In the first 2 months of the war, when Israel was really fighting for its existence, the government was nowhere to be seen. They were hiding far away from the public eyes, afraid to say or do something. Bibi himself looked terrible, and his few public appearances made even his base feel that in these terrible days, the PM cannot be trusted. Since then, as all polls show, Bibi lost the trust of the public, and most people feel he's spending most of his time on dirty politics rather than the interest of Israel. The first 2 months also demonstrated that what happens when you nominate to key position people who have zero skills and make the public service a factory of jobs for friends and relatives. Bibi is responsible for that as well. I was born in a kibbutz, Ein HaShlosha. On October 7, the kibbutz was brutally attacked by the Hamas, and a sequence of miracles saved them from similar atrocities to Be'eri and Kfar Aza. One example, there were hundreds of terrorists just at the gate of the kibbutz, and out of nowhere a tank appears, one tank, with an officer, and he was going over the Hamas terrorists. He was shooting at them, and that was one of 3 miracles that eventually saved the kibbutz from similar destiny. But still, the kibbutz unfortunately lost some dear members and a lot of devastation. A day later, they were evacuated to a small hotel in Eilat and were relying for a few weeks on volunteers to provide basic supplies because, again, the government was not functioning. The man responsible, of course, was Bibi. About 2 weeks after the massacre, Smotrich, the finance minister, announced that he has found somewhere 50 million shekel for the kibbutzim that were evacuated. This was not a joke. At the same time, to add the salt to the wounds, he still moved millions of shekels in what is called the coalition money, which is really a nickname for bribe to make sure Bibi is keeping this disastrous government. In other words, even in the worst time in Israel history, dirty politics was more important than caring for 150,000 people who were evacuated from their home and lost almost everything. Can you imagine what would be the government, or what would the government do if the massacre was in the settlements along the West Bank? Who is responsible? Of course, Bibi. 2 months after the massacre, members of the worst government ever started to show their faces, and their boss went back to the politics of October 6. 6 months since the massacre, Bibi is proving again and again that the survival of his pathetic government is more important than the release of the hostages. He let Ben-Gvir, the person who opposed the first hostage deal, to become his right hand, and sometime it looked that Ben-Gvir is in fact the prime minister. 150,000 citizens are refugees, and the government show no empathy to them. From Bibi's perspective, they are actually becoming a big headache and a threat to the existence of his government. Bibi, instead of turning around every stone to help the Israeli refugees, is finding creative ideas just to lower the fire. One of the ideas is to get these people back to the kibbutzim without any real guarantee to their safety. After Tzuk Eitan, there were dozens of soldiers in its kibbutz, including my kibbutz, and then one day they wake up in the morning and the soldier disappeared. And the frightened member of the kibbutz are told by the army, don't panic, we have a new concept how to guarantee your safety. That was 15 years ago. Today, they are not even suggesting to place soldiers in the kibbutz. And you know why they are not suggesting? Because there are not enough soldiers. And even though there are not enough soldiers, and the majority of the people demand that the Haredim will join the army, Bibi is spending most of his time to avoid this and find ways to continue to sponsor these people. In that context, he allowed a political budget that put the coalition money ahead of the interest of the public, not even eliminating 10 useless offices that are doing nothing and their only goal is preservation of his terrible government. About a week before giving his life to save the citizen of Kerem Shalom, Yaron participated in a demonstration in Kaplan. When he was leaving, a group of Bibi supporters spitted on him and called him a traitor. We are demanding that Bibi apologize to Yaron and other heroes about the behavior of these people who were incited by him and acted actually on behalf of Bibi. To sum it up, Bibi and his government have proven that they are not able to handle the current situation and are causing incredible damage to the state of Israel. We are demanding that Bibi submit his resignation and let the public elect a new government that will actually work for the people of Israel. Thank you.